Hi, my name's Rebecca, and welcome to my piano studio. I'm so glad that you made it onto my channel. In my studio and on this channel, we talk a lot about something that I never learned from my piano teacher growing up, and that was how to sit down at the piano and every single time make beautiful music, even starting out from when I was a beginner. If this is something that interests you too, I hope that you will consider subscribing, hitting the bell notification so that you know every time I upload a new video, and comment and share it. All those things help support my channel. In this video today, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. You're going to have the opportunity to play along with me. One of the things that I love to do in my studio is to play duets with students. And the really coolest thing is that even from the first time that a student comes into my studio, from the age of 5 all the way up to a beginner adult who's never sat at a piano, you can play a duet with me and it's going to sound beautiful. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do this in real time. I'm going to explain exactly how this works, where I'll show you the chord progression that I'm using, how many beats I'm going to be doing for each one, and then eventually I'm going to just play. And then you get to improvise with me real time. I hope that this is a really fun experience for you and something that will build your confidence to realize that even if you've never sat down and just improvised on the piano, this is something that every single student can do. It's empowering because you realize that music is really a part of our soul and that you are able to make music when you sit down at the piano every single time. So come over to the piano. I'll show you exactly what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to be quiet and just play. And I hope that you play along with me. So today we're going to begin in probably the easiest key, which is the key of C major. And the reason that it's easy is because we are going from a white note to a white note with only white notes in between. So there's no black notes to worry about today for this first time that we're going to be improvising together. So I like to always begin with a scale because a scale kind of sets our ears to where we're going. And also, it helps teach your fingers the range that we're playing in. So right now, we're going to be playing between a C and a C and every note in between. So you don't have to know the proper scale fingering. We'll teach that in another video. But for now, you can literally just use one finger and go from C to C and then back down. So let's do the C major scale. And then coming back down. So that is our scale that we're going to be making music today. There's going to be two ways that you'll be able to play with me today. And the first way is by simply making a melody with your right hand. If you really want to practice working on melodies, this is a great place to start. So when we're working on a melody in C major, the only thing that you need to think about is beginning and ending on a C, and then keeping your notes within the octave so that we're not popping around too much. So even though I just played only white notes, it still didn't sound like a melody because everything was spread out. So I want you to think of keeping the note a 5-finger pattern and then moving up a little bit and doing any notes in between there. But really, we're going to have a lot of notes that are similar to each other and close by instead of popping around too much. So something more like this. You hear how that's a little bit more cohesive than something where I'm just popping around anywhere randomly. Beginning and ending on a C is going to also help our ear to make it sound like this was really a real thing. Now I'm going to go through the chord progression that we're going to do because you may want to also play the left hand with me as well, especially if you're working on two-handed improvisation. So in the left hand, we're going to be building some chords. And right now, I'm just going to use the triad form. So a triad is 3 notes that are stacked on top of each other and that form a chord. So I'm going to build the first triad on a C. So we're going to count up 3 notes in the key of C. 1, 2, 3, and that leads us to an E. So we have C and E. And then from the C, we're going to count up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That leads us to a G. So our first triad is a C, E, G. And that is the number 1 chord that I'll be playing in this chord progression. Then we're going to go to a 6 chord. So let's find out what note is the 6 in the key of C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is an A. So if we build a triad on top of the A, we have A, C, E. And that is a minor 6 chord or an A minor chord. So we'll start with a C chord, and then we'll go to, let's go this way because the A is closer. And then we're going to go to a 4 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's built on an F, so the triad is F, A, C. So we have our 1 chord, to our 6 chord, to our 4 chord, F major, and then we're going to actually use a black note because I'm borrowing this note from the C minor. That is taking this A and making it flatted. And this is a minor 4 chord. So we have an F, A flat, C. So we're going from the major 4 chord to the minor 4 chord. All right, so in order, 1, 6, 4, minor 4, and then we're going to go to a 2 chord. So from C, 1, 2, that's a D. The triad is D, F, A. And then we go to a 5. 2 always leads very nicely to a 5 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is a G. So we have a G major chord, G, B, D. Just 2 more chords, that's it. And then we're going to a 4 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, which is an F. We build a triad on top of the F, F, A, C, and then we're back to 1. So now I'm going to do the whole thing in triad form so that you can write this down if you would like to play with me, or if you're just doing the right hand, you don't have to worry about the chords in the left hand. So we have our 1 chord, 6 chord, major 4 chord, minor 4 chord, 2 chord, 5 chord, 4 chord, and then 1 chord. There are many different options that you can do with your left hand. You can stick in triad form, which is what we just did, just having the stacked chords. You can take the triads and you can arpeggiate them, which just means that you can start anywhere, or the bottom, or from the top to the bottom, and do that. Or you can do, one of my favorite ways is to represent the chord. So instead of doing a C major chord like this in triad form, we're going to actually do the octave C to C. And then if you want to add one more note, you can put the 5th in the middle, which is the G. So the whole full chord would be C, E, G with a C on top. But that's a lot for a beginner to do 4 notes at one time. So a lot of times it's easier to drop that 3rd and just do the 5 in the middle. So you can do just an octave, or you can do the octave with the 5th in the middle, or you can arpeggiate it like this. So you get to decide. That's one of the things that I love most about improvisation. Your choices at the time. Just be willing to try new things. And you may try something and decide you don't love it or you need more practice with that, and that's fine. So you can go ahead and do any of those choices. So then for the A minor, it would be A, E, A. For the F, F, C, F. But the only thing is that when we get to that minor F, in order to make it sound minor, we have to have that A flat in the middle. So you can do one of two things. You can either just add it in and then have 4, or you can have the A flat on the bottom and do A flat C F, or you can do the triad there, just something that the A flat exists in that chord. Otherwise, all the rest of them are going to be the octave with the 5th in the middle. And then we're going to go to the 2, which is the D with the A in the middle. And then to the 5, G with a D in the middle. To the 4, F with the C in the middle. And then back to our C with the G in the middle. So it's almost time for you to play with me, but I'm going to show you just a little bit more about how this works. So I'm going to be doing everything in 4/4 time, which means that you will hear almost as if I'm doing 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it'll sound like this. So here's our first chord, our C. Okay? So I'm going to be making some beats, not with a metronome, but kind of with the beats of my bass pattern. So it'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way through. So for each one, I'm going to be holding them for 2 measures or 8 beats each. And at the bottom of your screen, you will see when I'm switching chords if you want to practice those left hands with me. But here's a little bit of what it can sound like. So I already pre-recorded the accompaniment, and I'm going to show you just a right-hand version of playing with myself so that you can hear what this sounds like. So here I will begin and then show you how to do a little melody above it. So that's how it's going to sound, only it will be completely different because it's going to be your melody. So now it is time for you to play with me. 1, 2, ready, play. We're going to do one more version of this. And this time we're going to do 16 beats. So it is essentially 4 measures of each chord before changing. And this is a different way of using the same progression, but you can use different rhythmic changes in your right hand. And why don't you go ahead and try the left hand with me this time? Because you will get to stay in that left hand position for a very long time before we move to the next one. So let's try this beginning in C, same exact chord progression. I'm only going to go through the chord progression one time, but I will keep it down for 4 measures. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Today we started out in the key of C major because that's one of the easiest keys to play in because there's no black notes to worry about. But if you are interested in learning about how to play in many different keys, we are going around the circle of fifths, starting in C major, but then going clockwise, adding sharps, and counterclockwise, adding flats, so that soon you'll be able to play in any key. Make sure to check out this circle of fifths playlist so that you can play along with me in all of the different keys. Let me know if this is your first time improvising and anything that I can do to help. I'll see you in the next video.